So occasionally, when we don't have time to give a game like the whole big before you buy video treatment, we just take a quick dive into weird specific games like this for an interesting topic video. Today it's gonna be the weird, strange, beautiful disaster that is Fast and Furious Crossroads. Oh boy. This game quietly released this week, published by Bandai Namco, and it's a full $60 full-price game on the famous movie franchise. It was announced at the last Game Awards. I was there in the audience. I remember hoping, oh man, maybe we can finally get a game that will realize the potential of the wacky, zany, stupid Fast and Furious universe. You know, even the first trailer looked a little rough, but I could look past some mediocre graphics if they really just embraced the fun factor. You know, I love the movies from day one, from the serious racing ones to the over-the-top action ones. This game really had potential, and it does seem like they were willing to embrace the fun side of the franchise, but oh man, it's just like really not working out here. So it's a new adventure in the Fast and Furious saga, features a lot of the main characters with the actors reprising their roles, and it's focused around driving, racing, and crashing into stuff. Unfortunately, it's on the shorter side, it's messy, and just dull. You know, the game focuses around driving, but the driving just doesn't feel quite right. It seems hard to put your finger on it, but it's either sometimes too unresponsive, not responsive at all, and then sometimes it's completely over-responsive. It takes a long time to get used to it because it just feels like the game's physics are incredibly inconsistent and fight against you constantly. Sometimes you can fly in the air like a feather, other times you're glued to the ground, and no matter what type of car you're driving, it's very hard to keep it steady and just do proper hairpin turns. The game gives you a wild e-brake option that is arcadey, but still almost goes a little too overboard. And so much of it feels like it works against you, because the game, like, it feels like it wants to be everything, you know? And it ends up feeling like nothing. A story-heavy driving game where you're often constrained and there's camera shifts, but also sometimes it wants you to be in wide-open locations with some freedom. And then other times it wants you to drive on straightaways at insane high speeds, kind of like an old school Burnout game where you have to crash into other cars and stuff. Sometimes it's like a game with weapons on your cars, and other times it's traditional street races with drift corners and turns. And then sometimes you're just driving around doing boring stuff like tailing someone. And unfortunately, it just doesn't really nail any of these different varieties of driving in any significant ways. I love driving games of all kinds. I especially really like arcadey style unrealistic stuff like Crossroads can be, but it just still ain't fun because it doesn't feel quite up to snuff in the controls department. You don't feel cool, and you don't really do much cool driving stuff because you're gonna miss stuff and you're gonna crash into stuff a lot. But when you do the occasional cool maneuver like drive through a thin construction pipe or underneath a tractor trailer, or maybe you hit a big jump, the game goes into slow motion, and that's cool, except half the time the camera freaks out while you're doing it. And honestly, the camera freaks out a lot. I've had a crash in the game in a race slow me down, not because I need to, back up and reorient and then go, but because I got stuck fixing the camera because it went completely haywire and went underneath the car. It almost feels like sometimes the camera can just lose track of the car in some weird glitch. Like, look at all of this. What is this? I can get over bad controls, but I don't care about the story either, and they spend a lot of time on it. You know, it's not just about Dom Toretto and Letty and Tej and the whole gang they've built up over the years. There's a lot of focus spent on two newcomers who get wrapped up in the Furious family's world of international action and mystery. They try to flesh them out, but it just doesn't hit for me. The earlier setup missions for them are dull, especially when you have to drive slow. It's like the game seems designed to not like that as your car jerks around wildly and the camera gets even worse. Still, you do at least get involved with the Furious characters, even if it kind of looks and sounds like they barely want to be there, with just like a dull, bored look to their character models and not a lot going on in the voiceover work. But swapping between characters during races and heists does actually work well and can be fun. It's almost GTA 5 style. It's just a D-pad press to switch to a character that may have a different gadget on their car or something, or different capability. Like, you can hack stuff with an actually pretty fun timed button press minigame to, break stuff or disable cars. And funny enough, it's really stupid, but the hacker car has a giant Wi-Fi router on top of it, like just straight up looks like a Linksys router. The big moments in heists and stuff seem like they could be fun. There's exciting music, Vin Diesel is yelling at you, you're smashing bad guy cars as another one of your teammates jumps off their car mid-air onto a hostage truck. But, since it's all so messy and frustrating and just not fun driving, it really detracts. Especially because the game has some awful rubber banding issues. Friendly cars and enemy cars shoot in front of you at almost light speed sometimes, especially police cars, in ways that don't make sense and you can't even explain away that they have nitrous or something. Other times, more often than not, when the game is in like that burnout mode where it wants you to just kind of smash into enemy cars, you're often blowing past them so quickly that so often in the game, during these moments, I had to slow down, look behind me, and wait for the enemy cars to catch up, and then drive up back in burnout takedown mode and then crash into them. It's aggravating and boring and slows things down, especially considering there is some difficulty and not the best checkpoints, meaning sometimes you get stuck listening to the same bad dialogue over and over again. Like I said, I really do appreciate big scripted set piece moment. Like there's that one trailer you may have seen with like a car fleeing from a downhill rock slide. Once I actually got to play that in the game, it was kind of fun. But all these big set piece moments is surrounded by pretty long cutscenes I don't enjoy at all. It doesn't look good, and it's just a boring plot with new generic characters and some truly boring missions. And it's super short, like mere hours. Not good for this price, and really not good for much any price. There's multiplayer too, but after trying a few times here and there for a day, I wasn't able to get into anything substantial to give thoughts on. I also haven't said anything about the graphics because, look at them, they kind of speak for themselves. While there are some licensed real-world vehicles, the game overall is still just very bland. The graphics, they look super dated, like an older generation game, but you might look at that arcadey style action racer and think, oh, this is like the old days. I love these types of dumb, goofy games on the 360, the PS2, the PS3. Yeah, sure. I like those types of games too. I was hoping this could just feel like an old, dumb PS3 game that was fun. But, unfortunately, for me, this ain't it, Chief. It's sad because Fast and Furious has the potential to be a gloriously dumb, awesome, fun game. And really like a whole video game series. But unfortunately, this one just feels so rough and frustrating and even broken, especially on the PC version, that I just left hugely disappointed as a fan of the franchise. It really is, like we said in the start, a beautiful disaster. But we want to hear it from you guys. If you did try this game, what do you think? Have you seen the reviews? Have you seen the Metacritic score? Are you a Fast and the Furious fan? Do you think I'm being too hard on this one? I'm being hard on it because I care, man, and I love the movies. But let's talk about this stuff. Let's talk about Fast and the Furious, Crossroads, and anything else in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, though, maybe we helped you out. Clicking the like button is the best way you can help us. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out new videos every single day. But, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
You know me.
Yeah, I do. That's why I told you to stay safe. They want to play with fire? Then let's turn up the heat.